Let's do a song.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Wait, hang on a minute. Oh, okay, I know why it's double sound. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone.
Waalaikumsalam.
Walaikum
To
salam
the
wa rahmatullahi
fourth
wa
episode
barakatuh.
of Shaherald Nightlife, season 3. And today's topic is on Islam, journey to the east from Arabia to Asia. Okay, so assalamualaikum to all our panelists here. We have on the top brother MENJ, the Muslim Apologist. Do check his channel out. Let me hide the banner first. You can see his name.
Show
Cool.
name.
Where's the name? Where's the name? Name's gone.
Show name. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
it's right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Okay, so you see that's the Muslim Apologist. On the right, we have Iskandar from Netherlands.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum. And we have Shaherald here from Singapore. Thanks for joining the stream.
Hi.
And beside him is brother Bilal, French Muslim, also living in Singapore now.
Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum salam, brother. And finally, on the bottom right is brother Ishaq Ma.
Assalamualaikum.
Brother Ishaq Ma is from Burma, and he's a Dai also. So tonight, we did some research on the journey from Arabia to China and to Southeast Asia also. Of course, this is not the entire complete history, I would say. It's just our research. It will not be accurate, even some of it. But I guess it's good to share so that it might maybe intrigue you to go and do some research on your own and find your own sources of information and piece this together eventually. We hope that our sharing today can benefit you in some way tonight. Okay. So without much further ado, I'll start off with sharing a bit about Islam in China. Okay. So Islam in China has existed through 1400 years of continuous interaction with Chinese society. Currently, Muslims are a significant minority group in China, and the Huaying Muslims are the majority Muslim group. The greatest concentration is in Xinjiang, with a significant Uyghur population. Lesser but significant populations reside in the regions of Ningxia, Gansu, and Xinghai. Various sources estimate different numbers of adherents, with some sources indicating that 1 to 3% of the total population in China is Muslim. Of China's 55 official recognized minority peoples, 10 groups are predominantly Sunni Muslims. The first mosque in China was built in 627 by the Sahabas, who had begun preaching in 616. They were noticed by Emperor Wu by 618 CE, and as a result, the Huaying Mosque was constructed in 627, being one of the oldest mosques in the world. All right, so this is roughly an intro to how you can start, and I also like to share with you this book. So I did most of my research and reading from this book. Okay, and it's called
Right.
Islam in China: History, Spread, and Culture, a pictorial book. Okay, compiled and edited by P.K. Koya. Okay, I don't know if you have seen this book, but you can go and check it out on Wada Books. Okay, it's about $49.90 hardback. I put the link there. You can go check it out. Okay, next. What about this
Wait,
book? Let me.
are
Yes.
you going to share about the book, or can we say
Yes.
something?
You panelists, feel free to
Okay.
come in with information at any point of time.
So I gotta add, because I have a master's degree in Asian studies and I focused on history, I approach this subject more from a scholarly academic perspective rather than from the native Islamic understanding of the history of Islam in China. And there are a few discrepancies even in the stories you just mentioned now. For example, when and who spread Islam to China. And one of the stories is that indeed it was Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhu who spread and established the Huaying Mosque in Guangzhou. But actually, if we look at the historical evidence, there isn't very much to corroborate this claim, right? So usually scholars say that Islam entered China in 651 Common Era, which is 30 to 31 years after Hijrah. And this was when the first embassy from the Rashidun Caliphate was sent to the Tang Emperor. So just a little bit of detail.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah. Thanks for sharing, brother. So you see, so there's a bit of changes and discrepancy here, and you can just make your own research as well. Okay, so next in this book that I found out, okay, some say this hadith is weak, but so far I found it in the book. And it's
Yeah, we
called
just appreciate the calligraphy. That's all. Yeah.
Appreciate the calligraphy, and it says, "Seek knowledge even unto China," according to our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah bless him and grant him peace. Okay. This I found an interesting part of the book is actually Bismillah Rahman Rahim in Chinese calligraphy. Okay, it's a Chinese style calligraphy which says, "In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful." Contemporary Chinese Muslim calligraphist Haji Noor Din Mi Guangjiang. Okay, interesting. Okay, next. Okay, in the 11th century, Persian scholar Al-Biruni wrote his widely acclaimed historical account of Inda Kitab Tariq al-Hind, which later came to be recognized as the foundational work for the study of Indology. Al-Biruni's work is considered one of the most objective accounts of India and its peoples, despite coming from a Muslim at that time, when Hindu-Muslim rivalry was at its peak, following conquest by Islamic powers of that time. He saw India not as a monolithic Hindu nation, but one that is made up of diverse cultures that many historians have inadvertently lumped together. 1,000 years later, such objectivity and historical honesty are still lacking in modern studies of people and nations. Some out of convenience and others for political economic expediency. The result is an entrenched tendency to regard some nations, in particular the large ones, from a monolithic perspective, the Muslims. Of the 55 officially recognized minorities in China, at least 10 are Muslims. Okay, so I thought I'd take that extract out. Okay, such is the fate of China, the third largest country by land area and the most populated country in the world. It, however, is actually made up of regions that are culturally and religiously diverse from each other and inhabited by more than 50 ethnic groups that have come to be lumped as Chinese, as popular culture knows them. This book seeks to extract one important segment of the Chinese world, the Muslims. Of the 55 officially recognized minorities in China, at least 10 are Muslims. Okay. So I give you this is like a brief history of China here that I got from the book. Okay. The emergence of Islam in China dates back to the Tang Dynasty. The dates are 618 to 907 AD. During the very early days of Islam, commercial contracts purportedly began just about 2 decades after the death of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, c. 570 to 622 AD, during the time of the third Caliph Uthman ibn Affan. Trade between various Chinese cities and the nascent Islamic Caliphate flourished, and reputedly in 627 AD. Some wealthy Arab merchants, benefactors constructed the Huaying Mosque, literally means memorial to the sage, in Guangdong City, Canton, in honor of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and in recognition of Islam's place in contemporary society. Huaying Mosque is one of the oldest mosques in the world and the oldest in China. It has been reconstructed many times over the centuries under various succeeding dynasties in China. Anything to add, brothers?
Yeah, I think the current plans of the mosque are from
Yep.
the Yuan dynasty. So I think the current floor plans are like from 13 something, if I recall correctly. Yeah.
Okay.
And also the name, actually, Huaishan, the name Huaishan itself, I think, as I know, is in the Qing dynasty, Cixi Taihou. That she granted, she granted this name for this masjid. But the origin name is Guanta Si, as people call, Guanta, the light minaret, or, it was like this. But Huaishan Si, also known as a Huaishan Si, because the Cixi, she granted for this masjid. That's why people nowadays they know as it Huaishan as well.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting. That's a good
Actually, the
point
road
there.
it's on is called Guangtalu, so the road of the light minaret. So yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Road of the Light Minaret.
Yeah.
Okay, so now next, reportedly, the third emperor of the Tang Dynasty, Gao Zong, 649 to 683 AD, had a profound understanding of Islam and found many of its teachings compatible with Confucianism. It is this compatibility between the teachings of Islam and the traditions of China that this book celebrates 210 pages of photography. Okay. The relationship between Islam and China is an important one. Islamic civilization subsequently became the scientific and cultural powerhouse of the world from the late 7th century until it was overtaken by the West in the 18th, 20th century with its Industrial Revolution. But now this Western dominance in turn faces an emerging China who appears set to fill that role, adding to it a new budding challenge to the world in the evolving technological transformation era, an era that China, grounded in its sheer size and its inherent affinity to harmonize with different cultures and traditions, is poised to lead. Okay. So the last 4 decades have seen this evolving role being pointedly challenged but increasingly entrenched. Today, there is not a product, not an object, from the smallest toy to cutting edge technology in transportation and communication to move or connect to millions of people that is not made in China. Basically, everything is now made in China. Not to mention the game changing leapfrogging lead in information technology advancement. Yep. The social credit system. I don't know if you heard of it.
Oh, are we gonna talk about that?
That's another topic for another day. Okay, so China, 中国, the country. Okay, this is by Yusuf Liu Baojun. Okay, Liu Baojun is basically born in 1963, a Chinese Muslim historian, a resident in Malaysia. So rather, MENJ.
Yep.
Do you
Yep.
know? Do you know he's stayed there? Okay.
I didn't know this. I don't even know the man, unfortunately. I would love to meet him. I would love to meet him if he's still alive,
Okay.
if he's still
He
around.
got 2 books there. It's called The Exodus Through the Taishan, Tale of Chinese
Oh.
Muslim in Central Asia. His books are available in 3 languages, even Malay. So no excuse, you can read.
I will try to get the book, inshallah.
MashaAllah.
Okay, so for those who are unfamiliar with China, which I don't think you should be because it's a big part of the map.
What is
China?
China?
China.
I've never heard of this country.
Well, it's a global
What
superpower
is
now. There's no excuse.
Sorry.
China, pronounced 中国 in Mandarin, means central nation. If you open a world map, you will see China located geographically at the center of the world. The total area of China is about 9.6 million square kilometers, located in Southeast Asia. Along the coastline of the Pacific Ocean, China is the world's third largest country after Russia and Canada. One of China's greatest treasures is its long-rich history. As early as 1.7 million years ago, the earliest human evolved on this land. China is proud of its many people, long history, resplendent culture, and distinctive customs. Chinese arts and crafts, including painting, calligraphy, operas, embroidery, and silk, are distinctive and unique. Kung Fu, which has only recently begun to enjoy popularity in other parts of the world, has been part of Chinese culture for centuries. Chinese literature testifies to the country's rich heritage. Among China's greatest gift to the world are the 4 great inventions: paper, gunpowder, printing, and the compass. Oh. Some arguably said paper came from Arabia. I don't know, but
A different kind of paper, right? Papyrus.
maybe.
Well,
Okay, next. Anything to add, brothers? By the way,
actually,
this is
wasn't paper. Yeah.
Huh?
So
Yeah, career?
no,
Yes.
no, about paper. I think the story is that at the Battle of Talas, they defeated the Tang armies and then they took the paper making skill to Arabia, right? I think that was the official story, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know about that. Maybe there's a few more other sources I should be cross-reading.
Yeah.
Okay, so over here, I just want to show you a very scenic place in China, Guilin. I haven't been there, but I wish I am there one day, because there's like a lot of mountains there, and there's a lot of greenery, and I just think it's very beautiful. In picture, I don't know if I go there, it's going to be polluted, and I don't know. Hopefully, not.
Guilin is very beautiful. It's not polluted, okay?
Okay. 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 The first dynasty, the Xia dynasty, dates to about 21st century BC. For 4,000 years, feudalism was the dominant economic and cultural model. Then in 1911, the revolution led by Sun Yat-sen brought the monarchy to an end. On 1st of October 1949, the People's Republic of China was founded. Since then, China has developed independently and vigorously. So this is Sun Yat-sen. Is that correct so far, brothers? I don't know. Those who are in Burma would probably.
Generally, it's correct, and
Okay.
everybody knows as this. He is a founder, and also the date and this so on. It's correct, but actually, but from the Islamic perspective side that we see, the Muslims or the Islam during the Republic of China founded, the Islam to get one more, relife, okay, relife again in China, especially in China and South Asia, which is related to China government, okay, even in Taiwan or in the Hong Kong, in Hong Kong and China. After this Republic of China established, the Chinese Muslims and the Islam getting more active, and also there were many scholars who have brilliant knowledges in Islam, and they can go out to meet other countries to explore, and even though as a ambassador of the Chinese, the Republic of China government, to introduce this religion and to get connect with other countries during these days. So there were many scholars. The one of I think the one of the famous and most people, Chinese or even the Middle East people used well known, is Ma Jian, Professor Ma Jian, who translate the Quran to Chinese properly in those times. And now, actually, most Chinese are still using that translations, his translations, to learn, the meaning of the Quran basic, and this that so on. So I think this period of timing, it's quite pleasure for Muslim and Islam during that time. Yes.
Oh, you have the book. Yes.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So it's really good time for Islam and a Muslim in those times.
Wow,
In China.
mashallah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. By the way, brother Bilal looks a bit like this guy in the picture.
Yeah.
Is it? Must be the mustache, I think.
Yeah, actually, come to think of it, yeah, he does have some resemblance to Brother Bilal.
Who knows?
China have varied landscapes such as the plateaus, desert, grasslands, seas, long rivers, and forests that make the country a most beautiful and splendid scenic land. If those who haven't been there, do check it out one day. These scenes have inspired a lot of Chinese literature, poetry, and painting to flourish through the different periods of its history. China is a multi-ethnic and multicultural nation consisting of 55 ethnic groups. The Han Chinese is the most populous ethnic group, accounting for 93.3% of the country's population of more than a billion. The other 55 ethnic minorities account for about 6.7% of the population. Is that right so far? There are a lot of Hans Chinese.
I don't know the exact number, but by the way,
Yeah. Oh, Iskandar
that
is
picture. Back then, yeah. What?
your voice went off. You dropped halfway.
Am I back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So there was this thing, the flag of China at that time had 5 colors, and it represented 五族共和. So this means like 5 races live in harmony, and one of those races was actually the Muslim race, basically. So I think it's important to notice, even though there's the percentage isn't that large, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. All right. All right, this is just some pictures of Chinese philosophers that you might be familiar with. Confucius here is on the left. You got Lao Tzu and Sun Tzu in the middle. Sun Tzu is a general, right? He's the Sun Tzu Bingfa, the one who wrote The Art of War. Okay, and then you have Han Fei, and you got Mao Zi. Anything to add here, brother?
It's
um,
Mo Tzu.
Mao Tzu.
I
Mao
only
Tzu.
recognize the first three people, but not the other two, not the last two.
Okay.
Yeah, same
So-
here. Same here.
Actually, just this is from my viewpoint, From my
Mhm.
viewpoint,
Yes.
and among these scholars, the ancient Chinese scholars, could be some of them could be the one who knows Allah, or that we can say some of them could be Nabi. Okay, but those
Basically followers of Tawheed, right?
but those their teaching is quite matched with Islam, and it is a part of Tawheed. Okay, in somehow. So
Mm.
that we cannot just say 100% who was a proper Muslim who knows Allah, but majority their teaching is to give people direction to know their creator. This is what I found, and this is from my own view.
I wouldn't exclude that. I'm also of the same view actually. In fact, I think from my readings, it said that Lao Tzu, especially, he may have been a prophet. I mean, some writings say that, but of course we don't know conclusively, right? We don't really know that, but wallahu alam, right?
Wallah alam.
Yeah, that's right. And a lot of scholars, actually Western scholars, they do recommend books, especially from Lao Tzu and Confucius, and those are Muslim scholars from the West. They have recommended to read some of their books. And actually I've read one of the books of Lao Tzu before. I have it at home, and I find that a lot of his quotations, a lot of things that he says, it's if you were not to read about him, and if you were not to know whether he's Muslim or not, you will think that you are reading something that is Islamic. So very fascinating.
Wow. Because I mean, over here they say that he's talking about Taoism, right? But I mean, from Lao Tzu, an ancient Chinese philosopher and writer, reputed author of the Tao Te Ching, the founder of philosophical Taoism and a deity in religious Taoism and traditional Chinese religions. Yeah, but you say if you were to read some of the thing without knowing who the person is, you might think he's expressing Islam.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting because Taoism was founded. I mean, the religious Taoism was not founded by him. It was founded by Zhang Tianshi centuries later, which made it like a religion full of gods. But his original philosophy did not talk about those things. This is important to make that distinction: philosophical Taoism and religious Taoism.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know there's that. What's the difference? Philosophical and religious.
The philosophical one basically is not a lot. It's the Tao Te Ching, right? The original text, but it doesn't make mention of that you have to worship the Jade Emperor, or that you have to worship all these sages, the eight immortals, the three purities. It doesn't talk about these things. So it's totally without these rituals that we associate with Taoism today. It's just two different things.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow, that's very insightful. Okay, by the way, Brother Iskandar have been to a monastery and he learned Kung Fu before. So he also probably have read out a lot about that during his time there.
Not really, but
All right, next. Okay, the Great Wall of China. I think it's very famous, right? Everybody know. It's an ancient series of walls, fortification running more than 13,000 miles in length, located in northern China and arguably the most recognizable symbol of China. You can also see it up in space, some say. Every year, more than 10 million people flock to the Great Wall of China, making it one of the world's most populous tourist attraction. I wonder if it's still as popular during the pandemic. I'm curious. Don't know. Okay.
Actually, nowadays, no many people, no tourists. Even the local people are suffering with the pandemic. Nobody can go. I mean, Yeah, it's quite hard. It's quite hard. Maybe
see.
some of who live around, maybe they will go. But most majority people are, uh, being busy, and also the pandemic, and there's no more business and coming, so quite difficult, suffering, as I know,
Okay.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it
think
would make sense. Make sense.
I wouldn't want to be locked down in the wall. That's why.
What? What?
No, I mean, if you live at the Great Wall and then they say lockdown, you get stuck in the wall. I mean, by the way, I know about some history that the wall, right? A lot of people die building this wall. It's actually buried with the bones of many dead people here because they were
Oh,
not fed well. They were all slaves building this wall for the Qing dynasty, right?
No, yeah, Qin dynasty. But actually, there's a story about that. It's called the Wanjiangnu Pudao Changsheng. Is
Mm.
like a woman's husband was conscripted to build the wall, and then he went missing because he died. And then she went to cry at the wall, and the wall fell over. That's the story.
Oh,
the wall fell over her.
No, the wall broke down because of her crying. That was the story.
Oh, okay. All right. Very
okay.
interesting story.
Okay. So here are some faces of children from 10 ethnic Muslim minority groups. They are the Hui, the Uyghur, the Kazakh, the Tajik, the Uzbek, the Dongxiang, Sala, Baonan, Tata, like Tata sauce. I don't know, Tata, and Kyrgyz. In China, there are 55 minority groups, including 10 Muslim groups as above. There are 10 ethnic minorities among 55 Muslim ethnic groups in China. Oh, sorry, this is I already mentioned here. Okay, so the Hui Muslims are widely spread all over China. Okay, and we have the Hui Cultural Association here in Singapore.
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, actually,
Okay.
can I say one thing about the
Yes.
Dongxiang? The Dongxiang are super interesting because they're actually Mongols. They're Mongols who
Oh.
converted.
Oh.
Yeah, and the Salars are Turkic, like the Tatars and the Kyrgyz and the Kazakh.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Do you like kind of recognize based on these faces and the dressing which one is which?
I don't, but others more knowledgeable than me, maybe.
I think I would say the Uzbek is probably the one at the top right, looking at the hat, because they got this hat shape. When I was in
Yeah, the hat.
Uzbekistan, for
I think,
example,
yeah,
I
yeah, because
recognized
of the
that kind
hat.
of shape.
Yeah, the cap. Yeah,
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
the cap. Which I have here. Actually, I have it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the cap here.
Okay.
So basically, sorry,
No problem. No problem. Yeah.
basically the amount of the ethnic group Muslims in China, that we can say majority are mixed with the Arabs, Persia, Middle East, West, Middle West, whatever. Majority are mixed. This is how they come from the Tang and Song dynasty in the earlier. There are two points, two places that in the earlier of Tang dynasty, the Muslim group settled it in those 2 points. The first point is the Xibei, then the northwest, which is about 50,000 Muslims soldier, 50,000 Muslim soldier. Then after they settle it, then they become the northwest, the ancestor from the Middle East. And the second group, they settle it in the Yunnan, the southwest part, Yunnan, around the Yunnan. Then this group, which is about 20,000 soldiers, then they become the southern west part Muslim ancestors.
I see.
So after that, it goes to the southwest. It go to the southwest, then go to the north. Then Muslims get separated in all around China. So majority Chinese Muslim Hui, which is actually mixed from many generations since the Tang or earlier, or something from Tang. Actually, it's mixed until nowadays. Then now become Chinese Hui. Yeah. And I would like to highlight one point in the Tang Dynasty. In the Tang Dynasty, in the earlier that Khalifa Usman radiallahu anhu, when he sent a delegation to Tang Gaozong, to the Tang Emperor, to introduce or to contact him and introduce Islam and the Quran and so on. And at that time, the Quran just after Quran complete publish it, and the Khalifa Usman was released to all over the world. And after that, he also sent a delegation to China with the Quran and other souvenirs to introduce Islam and the Quran. In that time, when the delegation meet the emperor asked some of the general to give any idea about the Khalifa Usman. Then they introduced him. They said he's from Taif. From Taif. Taif is quite famous in Saudi Arabia. It's a place. Then the one who registered and he misunderstand or he mislisten, okay, and then he write down in Chinese, 大使. Okay, no, he didn't mix writing. He write Taif, okay, in Chinese. But that word in Chinese is sh. If you don't look it properly, it looks like 食物. 食物 means the food, that letter. So people after that, they read Muslims in China in that period, they call 大使 or 大使族, means the Arabs, Muslims. But later on, people in Song Dynasty, the descendants of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam suffered, and then when he entered to China, when he became a leader in the soldier, when he got the proper power, and then he heard people call himself and call the Muslims 大使族. Then he found this is not correct, and then he asked the king to rename to Hui. So since that time, the Muslim name probably from 大使 corrected to Hui. But 大使 actually it's a people, the Chinese people that they don't know majority, then they misreading from 大一 become 大使. But actually that letter 食物的食, then you put on small circle, small dot above on the right side, then we read it 大一. This is in the tradition way, we read like this. But people, when they read, they remove that small dot, it becomes 大使. So get misunderstand or miscalling the name. So this is the point that happened in that story, in the history. Yeah.
Wow. Learn something new here today. How the word hui come about also.
Very rich history. Yeah.
And it's actually so weird because I think in Western scholarship they have been debating this for like a while, and they thought, oh, maybe it comes from the word Tajik, right? Tajik, but it's not the case, right? But actually people were mistaking it for Tajiks, but then they say, okay, but the capital of Tash is Medina. So they're like, wait, that's not Tajiks.
Yeah. But actually that word is, we read 大一 in the traditional way, 大一 with the one dot. But people normally we don't know and we don't use it, so we don't know. Misunderstand and we read 大使, so we mistakenly call 大使族. But when it changes to Hui, it get quite meaningful in the name of Hui. What I understand is Hui is double cow. Okay, one cow. Hui, with two mouths. One mouth, one Hui means return back to Allah. Okay, return back to Islam. Means to know your Lord, understand your Lord, to believe your Lord. The second Hui, the second mouth means return. When you die, return to Allah. So this means two mouths. One Hui is when you're alive, return to your Lord, return to Islam, believe in your lot. After you dead, return to your lot. So this Hui means that. So what I found is the prince that he the Sapphire, the descendant of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and he gave this name. I think it has quite big meaning to call all Chinese people return back to Allah, or return back to know, or to revert to Islam, to know more about Islam. So since that time, I mean, this name actually it contains fully Dawa meanings in inside. Hui Hui, come back, means that.
Wow, so beautiful. I like this story.
So maybe it means come back to the fitrah, right?
Back to
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
fitrah.
exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
MashaAllah.
yeah.
Wow.
So
Thank you.
yeah.
Anyone else that you got something? What Brother Ishaq shared? You have some thoughts? Can add?
No, I think you should just continue with the story.
Oh, continue. Okay, storytelling
Yes.
time. Back. Wait, hang on a minute. What's going on? Okay, this way. Okay, got it. Next. Okay. Each of the 10 minorities has its own culture, custom, and language, which make China a multicultural nation. Hua flower song is a periodical folk song among Hui Muslims who hold competitions in the spring season in Ningxia, Hui Autonomous Prefecture of Gansu. The Uyghur, Kazakh, and Uzbek are Muslim ethnic minorities who mostly inhabit the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, and they are found of playing competitive sports such as catching the sheep in riding. Music, dance, and other recreational activities have tremendously enriched the culture. Yeah. Okay. During the later years of the 19th century and the Cultural Revolution in 1966 to 1976, the whole of China suffered hardship. Muslims had also borne the suffering of its deterioration. However, China has revitalized following the open door policy in the contemporary period. Accordingly, the Chinese Muslims enjoy the freedom of practicing their religion in the golden era. Wow, this one is like I mean I chose this photo because I see like so many people look like they're so well dressed. Does anybody know the Chinese word up here in on the banner?
Yeah.
Oh, what does it
It's
say?
恭贺开斋节 something like.
Oh, Ramadan.
It's
Yes.
yeah. التهنئة طيبة لعيد الفطر المبارك. 恭贺开斋节.
Ah, oh, that's what it means. Alhamdulillah. Okay. Okay, so the Silk Road. The Silk Road was an ancient network of trade routes formerly established during the Han Dynasty of China, which linked the regions of the ancient world in commerce between 130 BCE to 1453 CE. While many different kinds of merchandise travel along the Silk Road, the name comes from the popularity of Chinese silk with the West, especially with Rome. The Silk Road routes stretches from China through India, Asia Minor up throughout Mesopotamia to Egypt, the African continent, Greece, Rome, and Britain. Wow, I tried to find the ancient ones, but the map that I find is that I think kind of clearly shows certain things are here. You can see the Arabian Sea here, and you can see the word Arabia. Some of them you can't see, like words clearly. So this is what I managed to find.
I do have to mention though that
Yeah.
if you talk about the Silk Road, that this kind of route was not really blocked, but it was upset because Tibet was very violent.
Mhm.
And so for a while, the most important route that connected Arabia to China was overseas and not by land. So I think they should be mentioned as well, because I don't see a line crossing the south of India, right? Yeah, that's just what I wanted to add.
Okay. South of India. So you should. Oh no, there's another line. It's called the Maritime Silk Road.
Oh, you have another map, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great.
So this is by land, and there's also one
Yeah.
by sea coming up. Okay. The greatest value of the Silk Road was the exchange of culture, art, religion, philosophy, technology, language, science, architecture, and every other element of civilization was exchanged along these routes. Carried with the commercial goods, the merchants traded from country to country. I found a picture where you see a camel and Chinese people in the past using the Silk Route. This is the Maritime Silk Route, brother. As you can see, it goes down even to South India and even Singapore. Yeah. Okay. This is the Maritime Silk Route. So early interaction between China and the Islamic West is often understood within the context of the famed Silk Road, the ancient highway that once stretched across Central Asia. Over many centuries, this ancient trade route, in reality a diverse collection of individual roads linking multiple locations across Asia, did indeed act as a conduit for the transportation of significant numbers of Muslims both to and from China. The frequent consideration of this role in its regard, however, obscures another and arguable, more important route via which Muslims frequently reached China. From the rise of Islam onwards, Muslims also traverse the long distance to China via the sea, along the Maritime Silk Road stretching from the Red Sea to the southern coast of China. Yep. So this is, I think, Emperor Zhenghe's boat. There you go.
Not emperor. He was not an emperor.
Also, Emperor. Okay. Oh, general, right? He's a general.
It's,
general.
I think
Admiral.
looks like 郑和
Emerald.
huh? Looks like 郑和 ship, huh?
Yeah, it's Zhenghe.
yeah. And the ship
So-
next to it is Columbus.
I mean, I think Marco Polo also used this route, right? Marco Polo. I think so. Okay. Anyway, back. Okay, the Chinese Buddhist monk, Yi Jing, I think 635 to 713, provides the first definite reference to Middle Eastern people visiting China by the sea after the rise of Islam. In 671, Yi Jing undertook a pilgrimage to Nalanda, the great Indian center of Buddhist learning. Setting out from China's chief port, Guangzhou, he traveled aboard a Persian bozy merchant ship. Although he does not comment on the religion of those he sailed with, his journey began 20 years after the Muslim conquest of Persia, at a point when many Zoroastrians had already begun to embrace Islam. Plausibly, therefore, Yi Jing sailed alongside early Persian Muslim merchants who worked the maritime Silk Road to China. Anything to add from here, or you want? I can go on.
There's another work. It's
Yeah.
called the Jingxingji, and it's by a soldier or someone who was captured over the land route, and he lived in the Middle East for a while. But he did describe the religion of Islam, and he did talk about how everybody prays 5 times a day, how everybody is veiled, and he did describe a religion. And it's around the same period, a bit later than this one. But yeah, it's very early accounts, very accurate. But sadly, most of the book has been lost to us, and small sections of this book have been preserved in other books. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Next. According to traditional legendary accounts by Chinese Muslims, Islam was first introduced to China in 616 to 618 CE by the companions, the Sahaba of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sayyid ibn Abi Waqas, Sayyid Wahab ibn Abi Kabsha, and another companions. Wahab ibn Abi Kabsha or Wahab Abu Kabsha may have been a son of Al Harith ibn Ab al Uzza. I hope I pronounced all this right. Also known as Abu Kabsha. It is noted in other accounts that I can't see because my slide kind of covered it. Okay. Wahab Abu Kabsha reached Canton by sea in 629 CE. Some sources date the introduction of Islam in China to 650 CE, the third sojourn or Said ibn Abi Waqas, when he was sent as an official envoy to Emperor Gaozong during Caliph Uthman's reign. After triumphing over the Byzantine Romans and the Persians, Uthman ibn Affan, the third caliph, dispatched a deputation to China in 650 CE. Where is this? 18
This
years.
is
This is 18 years. Sorry, this is 18 years after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's death. The leader of the dispatch invited the Chinese emperor to embrace Islam. This event was also known as the official start of Islam in China. Anything to add here? Is this like any more things that I've missed out?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
all good. It's all good. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyone can anyone corroborate with this story with the? I mean, is this accurate
no,
by historians?
Yeah.
no. Well, yeah, yes,
Uh,
but also no.
yeah.
Yes,
Just
but
want
no.
to yeah,
I'm
just
confused.
want to add the regarding the Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas.
Okay. Yes.
Radiallahu anhu. Actually, he's one of the Ashara Mubashara who was blessed by the enter to the Jannah, promise it. Okay, and he is one of them. He's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the 10 companions. Yeah, the 10 companions promised paradise, right? Yeah.
yes. And he's one of them. And then during that period that he brought proper Islam to the people of China, in the beginning that they are not opening to do the dawah to the local people. In the earlier, they are coming first and second, third, and after that, the more trader and the more Islamic scholars and the other teachers or artists and that so on, more and more coming. Then they began to do the dawah and the same time to find more fortune or to find more wealth to do the business. Then the dawah to the local people is started, is established.
Oh,
Yeah.
mashallah.
Yeah. So to answer the question whether this is corroborated by historical sources, I think there are some historians who do agree with this, but I think the majority consensus is that it is difficult to prove with written sources. So that doesn't mean it didn't happen, but it's just that it's not generally accepted by written sources.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now we're here at the 100 Word Eulogy. So this is where they find the eulogy, like the real original one in China.
Mhm.
Okay. This inscription of the 100 Word Eulogy, which is Bai Zizan, is it? Bai Zizan.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's located at China's oldest mosque in Xi'an. You can find this in Xi'an.
Wait, so which one is older, Huaishen or this one?
I think Nanjing.
One. It's called
Yeah.
one of, but not the oldest.
Okay, I see.
English.
But Nanjing is the first one which received this one, not Xi'an, I think.
Yeah. Nanjing is the first one who received by the who granted by the emperor Zhu Yingzhang.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and actually, I hope brother Iskandar can read it in Chinese. Then I
Yeah.
will read it. In
Yeah,
other.
there's a part I will have it in Chinese, but don't
But
worry.
do you want us to read it out loud?
Yeah, of course. Wait, but
Okay.
you can't see it here clearly. I think the next slide you'll see later. Don't
Okay,
worry.
great.
Okay.
You can read the next. Okay. This 100-word eulogy. Okay, official court painting of Hongwoo Emperor, the one on the left. Okay, reigned in 1368 to 1398 AD, Ming Dynasty, China.
Mhm.
The hanging scroll color on silk painting is located in National Palace Museum, Taipei. Okay, despite being a non-Muslim, Hongwu ordered the construction of several mosques in Xijing and Nanjing, the capital cities, and in southern Yunnan, Fujian, and Guangdong. He built the Jinjie Mosque in Nanjing, and large number of Hui Muslim Chinese people moved to the cities during his rule. Hongwu also led the army that conquered the country and defeated the Mongol-led Yuan dynasty. He had 10 Muslim generals in his army, including Chang Yu Chun, Lan Yu, Ding De-Xing, Mu Ying, Feng Sheng, and Hu Da-hai. In addition, Hongwu's spouse Empress Ma descended from Muslim family, while the original number of Muslims rebel group led by Guo Zixin. Okay.
It should be noted that this is heavily disputed by general Chinese scholars. So Hui scholars say this is the case, but other Chinese historians say, what are you talking about? So this should be added.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, now we come to the 100-word eulogy. I don't know if you can see this. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Let me just look up. Do you want me to read it? I can read it, but I'll do it from a different version because I'll open up a tab.
If
Yeah.
if you read it in Chinese, it will be
Yes.
great. Then I
Sure.
will read it in Arabic that I write it by myself.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
Yeah,
I'll do it in
wow.
Chinese.
Please do,
Yeah.
please do, man. I want to listen to this. Yeah, I must listen to this.
So-
Okay. Iskandar read in Chinese. I read it in English,
Yes.
and then brother Ishaq can read in Arabic.
Beautiful.
Sounds
beautiful.
good.
I'll do in French.
Okay.
And French. Okay, French. Bilal can read in French. Yes, good. Please,
I
please
must
do.
translate. One day I'll translate it into Malay.
Inshallah.
Mashallah.
Inshallah.
Okay.
Here we
Brother
go.
Iskandar.
百字赞，乾坤初始，天极著名，传教大圣，降生西域，授受天经30部册，普化众生。Sorry, what's the next one? 普化众生依照军师，万圣领袖，协助天运，包庇国民，五十其右，莫助太平，存心真主，加治穷民，拯救患难，动别忧忧民，
有名，动辄忧
Yes,
民。
sorry, 动辄忧民，sorry，超
Mashallah.
拔灵魂，脱离罪业，人负天下，道贯古今，降邪归一，教
降邪
民
归一。
降邪归一。
Yeah.
OK，教明清真，穆罕默德至贵圣人。
Mashallah.
Mashallah. Okay, so in English, the 100-word eulogy. Since creation of universe, heaven has already appointed faith preaching giant saint. From west he is born to receive holy scripture with 30-part book to guide all creations. King of all kings, leader of the holy ones, with support from divine to protect his nation. With 5 daily prayers, silently hope for peace, with heart towards Allah, empower the poor ones, save them from calamity, see through the unseen, pulling souls and spirits away from all wrongdoings, mercy to the world, walking ancient crowned path, evil vanquish to one religion, pure and true, Muhammad, the noble high one. That's in English.
Mashallah.
Mashallah.
Yeah, here is an Arabic version that I translated by myself.
Okay.
منذ أن خلق الكون والمخلوقات قد كتب على تعيينه هو عظيم الشأن الداعية إلى الحق مولود في الغرب ليتلقى الكتاب المنزل 30 جزءا هدى للعالمين معينا من ربه حارسا لأمته مناجيا ربه أثناء 5 صلوات سلاما وهدى على الأمم مؤمنا بربه ومعينا للضعفاء وإنقاذ كل من ظلم ومنح من البلايا ورأى الغيب من الجنة والنار إنه ذو أخلاق قيمة وهو معصوم مرسلا ورحمة للعالمين ودينه على ولا يعلى أبدا دينه هزم ما الشر وسماه إسلاما وهو محمد الشريف الكريم. Finish.
Mashallah. So
Wow.
beautiful. Wow.
beautiful.
Nice.
Wow.
Maybe try Malay. Come on, Malay.
Huh?
No, not now.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
inshallah.
Then
Yeah,
next time,
it is.
inshallah.
Yeah,
Next
brother
time.
Bilal,
Yeah.
French.
Yeah, I should have translated in Malay before we joined.
No,
Yeah.
I've been this what he wrote, the emperor that he wrote actually is quite touch your heart.
Mm.
And
Mhm,
actually
mhm,
it's declaring that he believed Islam, he believed Allah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
mhm.
but a people or the paper, when you go to find any paper approve that this did this emperor was a Muslim or not, but you will not find it, because in that time, in his period, that he's trying to push Muslim down. I mean, he don't allow to Muslim to engage more Islamic things. Instead, he requests Muslim to become more Chinese.
Hmm.
In that time, in his empire, during that empire, that he is trying to do that. But I found, or I mean, some scholars that they say he has his own target to do so. It is very simple to protect the Muslim, and to protect the Islam can go farther. That's why he, request Muslims and to engage or to get married with the Han people and with non-Muslim, and
Brandon
Islam.
Newton.
It's not that getting more.
Ron.
Yeah. So in that time, that he, in the same time, his policy is pushing down Islam, but another way he's building masjid.
Hmm.
He's building masjid. Many masjid he been built it, and even himself to write down, as according the historian say, that this poem or this 100 Bai Zhanzi, what he wrote it for the masjid
The
in
100 Word
Nanjing.
Eulogy.
It's expressing that he actually is a Muslim or a believer inside of his heart. Even that I know when they are cooking, their food, it's their own family or special person in charge. Nobody know what he eat. Okay, and actually he abandoned any general, any people around him to discuss his background and his religion. So do not ask my religion. So he don't want to tell people that I think probably he is a Muslim, and he don't want to people
Dakwahul
know.
Agung.
He
I
want to
think we
keep it
changed that. We
secretly,
can make
and
it
he want to
better.
prove Islam
Can make the
to go
transition
more
better.
farther. Yeah, this is how quite in
Zhu
touch, quite touch.
Yuanzhang.
Yeah, and that's why I know after I read his this 100 Baizhan that I try to just translate by myself. Then yeah, I hope you can join. Everybody can understand it.
MashaAllah, I think the Arabic words you said are so very, very nice. Even though I don't really understand, right? It sounds like it's flowing very, very smoothly. Yeah.
I hope there are someone who has high knowledge can give me some suggestion, maybe something wrong, but I did my I tried my best.
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah.
Anybody to add also to the 100-word eulogy that you have researched on yourself?
Yeah. So
Mhm.
again, this is another point, because there are many people who don't believe that this was written by the emperor. Actually, they believe that it was a fabrication from the Qing dynasty, from a few scholars, from a few knowledgeable Muslim scholars. But of course, these are different opinions. But whoever wrote this poem was very knowledgeable of the Islamic tradition, because of certain references he makes in the poem to Islamic traditions. Because, for example, in the first line, he talks about the heavenly pen, or that the universe was created, by writing about uh, the prophet, right? And this is congruent with a few Sufi traditions. So it's very unlikely that whoever wrote this was not a Muslim. So if the emperor wrote this, he was probably Muslim, right? Yeah, that's what I wanted to add.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
Anything else, brothers?
Or just if you want to get this, what I just read in Arabic, that you can go to my Facebook. I just posted 1 hour ago. Okay, in my Facebook, you can go Ishakma, then you will find it. Then you can just take it if you want it.
I
Nice.
think I found two Ishaq Ma.
Oh,
The
okay.
handsome one.
The one with scarf. The one with scarf.
Okay. Okay, can.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else, brothers? What? Okay. What does?
Nothing
You
much.
try.
I mean, I did a brief search for Malay translation. I found 2 Malay translations, but I'm not happy with it, so I'm going to translate it on my own later. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay. We'll do the
Alright.
eulogy once more. I think somebody
Yeah.
asking for a repeat, so we will do the Chinese reading again. Then I do the
Yeah.
English. But
Yes.
then do Malay. That is do Arabic. You do Malay.
Yeah. Inshallah. Yeah.
Inshallah, maybe
I would
Brother
love to
Dila
do that.
also
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
French.
Inshallah.
I'll try and correct the existing ones, because I'm not. I read both just now, very quick reading, and I'm not happy with the translations. Not very
Yeah.
accurate. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm very
Yeah.
curious to hear it in French too. Actually.
Yeah. I would love to hear it in French. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hang on a minute. Back to the PowerPoint. Okay. Anyway, I've come to the end of the PowerPoint. Just sharing with you some other calligraphy that I found in the book, which was really beautiful. Actually, you should all
very
go
nice.
check out Chinese calligraphy written in Arabic words, but it's drawn like Chinese calligraphy. I think in Singapore you have some places which actually sell the Chinese calligraphic writings as well of Arabic words. And they're really beautiful. Like, I think I was also given one by the Huaying Muslims. Thank you so much. I haven't framed it up yet, but yeah, I was given
Yeah, I would
one.
love to have one. Yeah, I would love to have one. Yeah.
Although I can't read these words lah. But they just
Why
look
is it?
nice.
Is it traditional? Because it's not simplified.
It might be traditional Chinese, yeah, mostly.
Oh.
This is not Chinese. This is Arabic.
Oh, it's Arabic.
It's Arabic.
Okay.
Oh, it's Arabic.
The Arabic,
Okay.
all in
it's
Arabic.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Arabic. Oh, it's Arabic, but written in, written in Chinese style.
traditional way writing.
Oh,
And
interesting.
the right side,
Interesting.
the big one, the white, black and white one, quite small one that I cannot see. The big white, black and white is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim on the top. This one that they call Yibi, just one scripture, just one pen, then you go through to the end, Bismillah, directly. So
one stroke makes it on
Yibi
one.
Guo. Okay.
Wow.
So it's like one breath.
Yes. And the line under it, which is Udkhuluha bisalamin aminin, which is I think it's from the Ayatul Quran, from a part of the Quran. Yeah, Udkhuluha bisalamin aminin. This is Ayatul Quran. And on the left, which is a Surah Al-Fatiha, which is writing, if I'm not wrong, that I can see is Surah Al-Fatiha in the middle, okay, black and green. And the right and the red is Allah or Bismillah. Mostly is Allahu Akbar. Yeah, it could be Allah or Allahu Akbar. What I can see is that. Yeah.
So if you were to read the Arabic word in calligraphy, you read from right to left also. That's like Chinese.
Mostly, actually, it's Arabic. Yeah, we write it from right to left.
And
but
top down.
in the calligraphy side, that we don't have actually proper way to write. It depends on what type of the calligraphy that you are writing. But majority ancient traditional way, Arabian traditional way, which is write from right to left. And some of them, you can write from top to down, or you can just mix up the words. Yeah, it depends on the way, the style that you are writing. Some of them it's opposite. So it could be anything. But
So
majority is from right to left.
Okay. So it's also reading from top down here, is it? Am I supposed to be reading this way? Top down, right, left?
Yeah, right to left and top to down.
Okay. So, okay. But it's strange how to write Arabic words top down, because usually I see right, left only.
Actually, top to down is the Arabs or the calligrapher. Arabs calligrapher, they write it top to down, which is very simple, and use their own pens to write. It's
Oh.
quite nature. I mean, for those who are experienced, who are really calligrapher, it's very easy for them. And for the Chinese calligrapher, it's kind of easy for them as well, because they used to write Chinese from the top to the end, to the down. So they used to use that way to write. So when they write the Arabic, and very easy to use that way to write it. But the point is, if you know the Arabic, if you don't know, it's it will get wrong. And also, for the Chinese, get familiar to write from the bottom, from the up to bottom, is because of the in China there's some language, ethnic language is quite similar writing way with this calligraphy style. It's like Mongolian, okay? Mongolian and some ethnic group, their way of writing is quite similar to this. So it's very easy in this concept for them to write in this way.
It's funny you should mention this because Mongolian, or rather Manchu, comes from Mongolian, and Mongolian comes from Old Uyghur, and Old Uyghur comes from Semitic, like Aramaic, I think. And so they just turned the alphabet, they turned it on its side, then it became from top to bottom.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see. MashaAllah. Okay. So that's all my research for China, but anybody can share from China to Southeast Asia.
I'm sorry, what?
China to
from
Southeast
China
Asia.
to Southeast Asia. How long do we have?
No, we just go on. I mean, like if
Yeah.
anybody need to go off, it's okay. You can go off if it's too late. Yeah, I think we already got on the high point of this discussion. Let's go.
Now, shall I just kick off? I mean,
Just kick off.
we already talked about Zhenghe, but actually, I think the story from how Islam spread to Southeast Asia is a bit complicated because there are no scholarly consensus about when and how it spread. I think the earliest evidence of Islamic settlement was in Champa in the south of Vietnam because of the Muslim grave that was found there, Lady Fatima, I think she was called. And so, people have a few theories. And the first theory is that Islam spread to Southeast Asia directly from Arabia. And this is an easy assumption to make because the trade route from Arabia to China goes through Southeast Asia. So they just say, okay, they established trade posts there and they became Muslim. But actually, there are no sources to really corroborate this. So the second theory was, okay, so maybe it spread to Southeast Asia from India. So the colonies, so the Muslim colonies which were built in India, they had Arab scholars and tariqas who went over to Southeast Asia to spread Islam. This is plausible. And then there's a third theory which says that there were certain Chinese elements involved in spreading Islam to Southeast Asia. And this is because of the Wali Songo's legends, usually from Java, who say that the original saints, a few of them had Chinese names or Chinese last names. And yes, they do talk about a Chinese princess, for example, who came and converted a king, and then the king converted the rest of Java. But that's only on Java, right? So it's I think most likely it's a combination of several elements. So the Muslim traders, the Chinese original Muslim traders, and also the Hindu Arab the Indian Arab communities that spread to Southeast Asia.
Oh, okay. Brother MENJ, it sounds like you got something to share. So, no, I mean, last time I heard the story was something about how the I don't they sort of like exchange culture. They were also marrying the Chinese, right? The I'm talking about Malays in Malaysia. Is that how it happened?
Actually, the theory is pretty much similar with what Brother Iskandar just said. The three theories is the same. It's the same. No consensus because we don't have any evidence. Okay, so but we know that the earliest written monument about Islam is in Tanganu, the Batu Bersurat Tanganu, or the can I share the screen for?
Yeah, sure. How do you can share? Just go ahead.
Okay, wait, let me share the screen for Batu Bersurat Tanganu, or I don't know what you call it in English, but that's what we call it in Malay. Okay, Batu Bersurat Tanganu. So this is one of the earliest memorials, written memorial which mentions Israel. Oh, it's called Tanganu inscription stone. Okay, but I know it as Batu Bersurat Tanganu. Okay, so this is the earliest mention of Islam. This stone mentions in the peninsula. Okay, there's another monument. I think it's a tombstone in Pasai in Sumatra, where it also mentions which is earlier than this. It's earlier than this stone. Okay, but this is the stone which is the earliest found in the peninsula. Okay, the Malay Peninsula. So Islam came here quite early, and of course we know about the Malacca Sultanate. We know about how the Sultanate expanded, and then that was I think in the 13th century. Yeah, 13th century. Yeah, 13th to the 14th century, right? And then in the 15th century, then the Portuguese came and conquered Malacca, and the rest is history, lah. Okay. So basically, this is the earliest stone that this is the evidence that we have. Okay, for Islam.
And I think it's important to. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. Okay, sorry. I'm pretty much done. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Right. So you mentioned Sumatra. I think Sumatra is a very important point in Southeastern Asian Islam. I think it was one of the first places that the Muslim traders settled, right? And there's one settlement. It is mentioned as Kala in Muslim sources, and there's so much debate about what Kala actually was, right? And so people have, I don't know if you know.
Yes, I do. Kola. Some people say Kola means Kedah, the state of Kedah, the northern state of Kedah, which is now called Kedah. Okay, this is the older name for Kedah. Okay,
but some people say it's also Kelang. Yeah, but okay.
That's one theory. There's so many theories, you see. So,
yeah. But it's all in the same area, right? So on the Malay Peninsula.
Yeah, the northern part of the Malay Peninsula.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Correct. Yeah.
But then I wanted to talk about the influence that Zheng He had on the spread of Islam in Southeast Asia, right? Because this is another part that is quite interesting. So Islam was already present in Southeast Asia, and it was already spreading, but it reached a kind of a deadlock because of the pirates in the region. So it was difficult for scholars to get around. So the spreading was hard, and also the remnants of the Hindu empires, such as Srivijaya, Majapahit.
Yeah, Majapahit, yes, Majapahit. Srivijaya, Majapahit, yeah.
Exactly. So they stemmed the tide of Islam, right? So what Zheng He did was he appointed a certain person as the king of Malacca, and then he.
That's not actually the narrative that I know.
Really?
Yeah, it's a bit different.
Okay, so it's not Zheng who appointed him, right? It's actually the emperor.
No, it's okay. This is what I know. Okay, from my own, my Malaysian sources, which I've learned in secondary, right? Secondary school. This is the official version. Okay, so basically, it's what you said. There's pirates in the region, and China wanted to form relations with Malacca at the time. So Malacca was a powerful nation at the time, and it was a trading entrepot. So China wanted to establish relations with the Malacca Kingdom, the Sultanate. So they sent Zheng He as the ambassador to Malacca. That's how the story goes. And he brought with him the legends here say that it was a princess. It was a Chinese princess. So right. he brought the princess. Locally we know her as the Princess Hang Lipo. Okay, I know that the name doesn't exist in Chinese sources, but this is what local stories say. Okay, so this Hang Lipo followed Zheng He together, or Cheng Ho as we know him in the local stories. So he brought her here, and he established relations with the Sultan of Malacca, and this princess Hang Lipo was married off to the Sultan. So the Sultan has a Chinese bride. Yeah. So this is the story. And until today, there is this hill until today in Malacca called Bukit Cina, or if you translate it, it will be Chinese hill. Okay, China hill.
Yeah.
So this is because it is said according to legends that this princess Hang Lipo and her entourage, the Sultan built a place of dwelling or a living space there. I'm not really sure at this mountain. So that's why this mountain until today, or this small hill until today, is called Bukit Cina. Okay,
Oh,
as a testament to
interesting.
this. Yeah, but like I said, this is not. I think Brother Iskandar knows this. There's no record of this Putri Hang Lipo anywhere in Chinese
Right.
sources. You see, so
Right.
that's the problem. But that's the thing is this is very much well known, and this is taught to us in
School. Yeah,
in school. Yeah, it's in
yeah.
our history lessons. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the thing I mentioned about him, the king being appointed by a Chinese emperor, I think this is from the Chinese perspective. I think this is maybe not
I
accepted
think
by the
maybe there
locals.
is some relation to that. Maybe if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, Zheng He did send a sort of a letter of accreditation to the
Yeah.
Sultan, I think, and the Sultan gave him a sort of a tribute
Yeah.
for him to return to the Chinese emperor. So maybe there is some relation there. Maybe that's the thing that the sources is
Yeah.
referring to. Yeah.
But Chinese are always, the Chinese sources always speak of appointing other people as their vassals. So I'm not surprised at this.
Yeah.
But are you
Yeah.
talking about Megat Iskandar Shah or the one before him?
I'm talking about the one after him, actually, Sultan.
I see.
I think it's Sultan Mahmud Shah, if I'm not mistaken.
I see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mahmud Shah. Yeah, he was the most powerful of all the line of Malacca kings.
Yeah.
His reign was the most prominent. Sultan Mahmud
Right.
Shah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think it's important to note, or rather to place the influence of the peace in the region, right? Because of the Malacca Sultanate, of its rise, that Islam was able to spread so I won't say violently because it's a nasty word, but able to spread so widely throughout the Nusantara region, right? But,
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
That's I'm wondering, huh? Is there any special name for the Muslim in the Southern Asia, like Chinese Muslim in China, it known as Hui, or known as a Muslim or something? There are some identity. So, is there something special name like this in the Southern Asia places? What kind of
If
thing?
you're talking about Malaysians, no, we don't, because you see, if anyone who converts to Islam is considered to be a Malay.
Oh,
Automatically you're assimilated in as part of the Malay community, because Malays are the majority in the country. So once you become if you are Chinese, you are of Chinese ethnicity, or even if you are of Indian ethnicity or whatever ethnicity apart from the Malays, once you convert to Islam, you are considered to be a Malay. So that's why
so so
yeah,
Hui as a
yeah,
Chinese Muslim, so Malay in
yeah.
Malaysia is as a Malay Muslim.
Exactly. As if you have entered, so like for example, I think in China, if you convert to Islam, you will be considered as entering the Hui, right? Being part of
Yeah,
Hui,
yeah, yeah,
right? So it's the
yeah.
same thing here. So once you convert to Islam, you're considered as masuk Melayu, or you become part of the Malay race. Yeah,
So
something like this.
is that
Yeah,
right
it's
to say
something
if
like
you
this.
go to China, you become Muslim? Let's say a Malay who is not a Muslim go to China, become
Mm-hmm.
reverted to Islam. He become
Uh-huh.
a Masuk
He
Hui.
becomes a Hui, masuk Hui. Yes, he will become the Hui religion. Yes, yes, correct, correct. That's how it is.
Okay.
So it's the same
Yeah,
thing
I
here.
mean theory and this concept.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes,
but
the concept. Yeah, 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 yeah.
so,
okay.
Brother
Right.
Firdaus, are you now Malay?
Huh?
Are you Malay now?
No, I
Oh,
still have a lot of Chinese roots.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for us in Singapore we don't really have that absorbing into culture kind of thing, like
I
in a
see.
sense. Yeah, because we understand and we respect the multiculturalism here. So even if you are going to a different religion, that identity of the culture that you are brought up with, you can still live with it wherever your religion permits it lah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just
So
just
yeah,
by the way,
so
just
so
as
one
a
example is our
yeah,
brother
yeah,
Firdaus lah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just as a
Yeah.
Yeah, and me
disclaimer,
also.
by the way, just as a disclaimer, I don't agree with this Masuk Melayu thing, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I distance
Yeah.
myself from it. Okay. But
yeah.
unfortunately, this is what the majority does. Okay. So yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But
Right.
I think it's also probably a misunderstanding. It's like you might
Mm.
misunderstand as a nationalistic change instead
Mm-hmm.
of okay. You took it as a racial thing when it
Yes,
meant to be
exactly.
a nationalistic
Exactly.
thing. I mean, for example,
National racialism thing. Yeah. Yeah, you
yeah,
said that.
Mm.
Yeah.
because for example, right, when I say I'm Chinese in the West, people think I'm from China.
Mm-hmm.
They won't think that I'm talking about my ethnicity, Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
Like my nationality is Singaporean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my country is Singapore, but I my roots are from China. Of course, my
Mhm.
ancestors are from China, but I reckon I identify myself as a Singaporean Chinese. So, so I think when you say that you embrace Islam in Malaysia, you masuk Malayu, might actually mean that you became a Malaysian, like quote unquote, Malaysian
quote
Muslim.
unquote, quote
As
unquote.
in the
You can say
passport? Or
To
But
identify
sorry, Firoz. But I think
yeah, it's like sort of identify you're
what
from you went to Malaysia to become a Muslim lah. Maybe that was how they framed it lah.
yeah, but the idea that the majority of the Muslims in Southeast Asia are Malay is true, because we have Malaysia. Yes, we have Malaysia. Majority is Muslims and Malays, and also we have the huge bulk of Indonesians, which are also the highest
Oh,
population of
by the
Muslims
way,
in the country.
by the way, in
Yeah.
Malaysia, we
So that's
Malaysians
why
regard,
that stereotype is there, or that narrative is there lah. Yeah.
By the way, the Malays here in Malaysia, we regard Indonesians who are Muslims to be Malay, and we regard Malays to be Bruneians to be Malay. Even though in Indonesia there's so many ethnicities who are Muslim and not Malay, and we Muslims in Malaysia, we will regard them as Malay. So it's like the one whole bulk of the Malay race. You see, so that is
But
why
Indonesians will regard your guys
yeah
as Indonesian,
yeah
right?
yeah. The Indonesians will regard us as Malays, Malays, Malays. Even though in Malaysia there's so many ethnicities, there's Javanese, there's Banja, there's so many other sub races, ethnicities who are Muslim here. You see, so so the Javanese, like the Banja and the Boyan, everyone has been absorbed into the great Malay term. You see, so on my IC is written Malay, even though ethnically speaking, I'm not actually a Malay.
So what are you?
Okay. I'm
What are you?
Javanese.
Right. Okay.
Wong Jowo.
Yeah.
But like
I found this interesting.
But on my IC will be written as Malay, and I'll be identified as a Malay. Yeah, that's how it is.
I saw an interesting comment by Hazel Z. I don't know. I think it's a lady. I guess it's Hazel, right? It basically means they got the same rights as Bumi Putra for converting to Islam. Is it?
No, not true. Not true.
Not
Just
true.
because you are not true. Because just because you converted to Islam doesn't mean you're a Bumi. There are non-Muslim Bumi in Malaysia. Okay. There are non-Muslims who got the same rights as a Bumi because they are Bumi Putra. Okay, so it's not true. This is a myth actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's why the topic of today is very important, because there is still a lot of misconception. Since you already talk about all those things, right? It's applicable to me as well, because many times I take a taxi in Singapore, when I share my story about being a Muslim now, and the taxi driver, most of the time, Singaporean Chinese will tell me, "Oh, you became Malay," and I share with them, "No, I'm not Malay. I'm French, but I'm Muslim." And then they get confused, and then I tell them that actually Islam is a universal religion, and I did share with them that even in China, Islam is very big. And then always the uncle, those taxi drivers, they get the shock of their life when they hear that, oh, there is Islam in China, and they are
I'm not
very,
surprised.
they're very, very surprised that they never encountered that before. So I think, it is very important for us to share more on this, because people need to know that it's above and beyond all of this, and it's just a universal religion. It's for everyone, without any limitation.
MashaAllah. Just
You're
remember
right.
the last sermon of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yeah, Islam is universal. It's not not what Arab is higher than us. No, whether you're black or white, it's not considered by Allah as a differentiation factor. It's more about our piety, right? That differentiates us.
That's why I always try to distance myself from this Melayu thing. For me, anyone who comes to Islam is a Muslim automatically. Yeah.
I mean, I just went to Huaying Cultural Association today, and some of them shared with me their stories when they were like, I think it seems to be like a lot of taxi rides actually. This lady, she's Chinese, she's wearing a hijab, covering everything, The moment she entered, the guy started speaking to her in Malay.
Oh my God.
I think out of courtesy, right?
So everywhere.
Oh my God.
Even in Hong Kong.
And what will happen if she answers in Mandarin?
No, then she was like smiling at him, and then said, in English she said I don't speak Malay. No, I don't know. No, but you Malay, right? You Malay, right? And then she said, no, I'm Chinese wearing a tudong, like wearing a hijab.
Uh-huh.
So I only speak Chinese and English. I don't know Malay.
Mhm. It's the
There's
same.
another, yeah. There's
It's
another
the
story
same.
was another story was at a bus stop.
Yeah.
Then I think there's this Indian girl beside her, I think Muslim, but she's very young. She don't know much about this, so probably she just looked at the lady and spoke to her in Malay. But it's a Chinese lady who's wearing a
Okay.
hijab again.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then this little girl said, speak to her in Malay. And she said, I don't understand what you're saying. And then he said, but you Malay, right? I said, no, you do bluff people, you bluff people, you bluff people. So she was like insisting that the lady was lying to her or something until a Malay Malay
Unfortunately,
uncle.
she will get the same experience if she comes to Malaysia. That's the same thing. She'll be treated the same way. We will be speaking to her in Malay if we didn't know that she's
No,
non-Malay.
but
You see?
it can go as bad. Okay, there's stories where it's as bad. When a Chinese lady who's Muslim enters a mosque and pray, and sometimes they have other Chinese Muslims there, so they naturally speak their mother tongue, right? They'll speak Chinese or they'll speak their dialect,
Okay.
and then the people there suddenly treated them bad, like they pour water in their shoe and say, "Why are you in the
Oh,
mosque?" Yeah,
oh, that's horrible.
like
I don't think
they've
I don't
never
think
seen.
I don't think
Yeah.
we have that kind of incident in Malaysia. Alhamdulillah, no, we don't have that.
Yeah, I don't know where it is, but I know apparently there are experiences like that when people do not know that a different race can embrace Islam, and when they see a Chinese and who's a Muslim entering the mosque, and they thought that why you here, pretending to be a Muslim, pretending to be Malay or what, no, entering a mosque, and they just
Yeah,
forbid them from entering the mosque, which is a bit,
yeah.
off-putting, when you want to actually go and pray.
Yeah, I
Actually,
see.
this is interesting because there are some mosques, at least in Netherlands, it's very common for Dutch people to be like interested in Islam, right? And then so they call beforehand, can we take a look in the mosque? Can we take a look when you're doing the prayers? And usually mosques are accommodating. They say, okay, please come and you can look, even though you are not Muslim. You can go, you can sit on the sides during prayer, right? But I was wondering if this is common in Southeast Asia or in Malaysia or in Singapore. Is this,
Sit on the side of the mosque.
I'm sorry, what?
What do you say? Sit on the side of in the mosque.
So that non-Muslims are allowed
Oh yeah,
during
it's
prayer.
common.
Yeah.
So in our mosque, it's open to public. You can come in, but just that if you're not a Muslim, you just have to observe certain things like covering
Yeah,
up.
Yeah,
They will put some information before you enter.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
of
Same. It's
course.
the same thing in Malaysia. Yeah, we have like I think there's a tourist information booth where if the non-Muslim, let's say if it's a non-Muslim lady who comes to the mosque, usually the most famous tourist spots would be the Putrajaya Mosque or the Federal Territories Mosque or the Shah Alam Mosque. These mosques are very famous. The National Mosque. So these mosques are very famous mosques in Malaysia, which has a lot of tourist crowd. This is before the pandemic. So there's a tourist booth, and then there will be a long robe for non-Muslims to wear before they enter the praying hall.
I
Yeah,
see.
to cover the aura, of course. Yeah, for
Okay.
the non
It's the
for
same
the women.
actually.
Yeah.
It's been like many years in Taiwan and Hong Kong. Muslims are trying to introduce during this short visiting inside of the mosque and to to give them any ideas about Islam. So until now, I mean, there are quite several of people after they visit the mosque and that they could understand the reality of Islam. And I hope in different places that people they could do the same, and also they I mean open-minded. Even
Yeah.
they see a Muslim or see a Chinese or any other nation embrace to Islam, then please give them some space. I mean, respecting. So I hope everybody have their own religion or their faith, and I hope people respect each other. I mean, in
Yeah.
here in England, people actually is quite understanding about Islam because here we have large number of Muslims here around, especially in the West Midland, okay, in the middle part of England, that you will see many Muslims around, but Chinese Muslim is quite rare, okay, maybe quite of a few times that if I enter the masjid, people will look at me as a, I don't know, because majority are different nations. The Chinese Muslim or the face look very Asian, Oriental, that quite rare to see inside of the masjid. But alhamdulillah, still people understand.
Mashallah.
Yeah.
Brother Isakma, you were going to share something earlier. Sorry, we kind of interrupted about
No.
The stories about, you were saying about similar experiences that you had as a Chinese and entering a mosque or something. People would.
Oh yes, it is. I mean, they are in Taiwan. Actually, we say in Taiwan, there are several mosques that opened it daily, open it for the tourists coming to visit. But certain mosques they don't open it. Okay, it depends on the mosque. Not every mosque can accommodate, because every mosque they have their own managers, or they have their own board to run and this maintenance. They have different arrangement. In Hong Kong as well, there are big masjid or big mosques like Kowloon Masjid and One-Time Masjid that always you go there. At least one or two people they are willing to introduce to you or to give you a time or place to sit down and to observe the Muslim prayers and to observe the all obligatory that Muslim are doing during this time. It's quite, I mean, quite good in this part of way to introduce Islam. Especially people nowadays, they are actually being busy to do not have time to know more about other religion or culture. And when they go across by the masjid or across by the Islamic center, they could enter anytime. So in Hong Kong, that there are many people when they come or when we go to introduce, like and there's a masjid in the in the half of mountain in Hong Kong, the oldest 130 years more, and that masjid it's a tourism place. Actually, there are hundreds of people daily they are coming and visit. Daily are coming and visit, and actually we don't have a proper person to introduce. But these days there is one Mr. Haji Ma, okay, and he is trying to do by himself. And also now there are another brother sister join him to introduce every weekend, to sit there and to welcome everybody, every tourist to come in and introduce Islam. And regarding this movement, I hope that we as a Muslim we have that duty to introduce people around us, especially our families, the neighbors, with a way of gentle, okay, with a real love way. Do not use any, bad way to introduce the Islam, and do not ask anybody to accept your opinions in any time, because everybody has their own opinion. But I wish everybody can do, as a individually, as a good Muslim, to separate the love of Islam to the neighbors first. Then inshallah everybody will come into your masjid. And even they don't come to your masjid, when they come to your home, that if your home become like a masjid, welcoming people and to observing the Islam in your house, then any person when they come to your house, it's like they go to the masjid. It's the same. So I would like to request, brothers and sisters, please keep Islam in your daily life. Then can share with anybody come to your home. Do not just wait until they go to the masjid, then you go to do as a volunteer. I tell you, these days it's a pandemic. Nobody goes to masjid. Okay, so yeah, just take the opportunity. Being a good Muslim, then inshallah introduce the Islam by the good way to your friends who ever come to your home or who around you.
Very good advice, brother Isakma. Wow, I think that's very well said. On this, regarding that part you say about making a home, inviting, so people feel like they have entered a masjid. I went to order some what do you call it, chicken mandi and lamb mandi. This is a dish. I have to go and collect it from this lady house, and she does home cooking. So when I take away the food, right, I enter the house, it's like, wow, it's so beautiful. It feels like I'm in a mosque also, because there's like carpet, there's Turkish seat that you can sit down, and then she has like beautiful framed up pictures and all that, of even calligraphic words and stuff, and even the look of the Kaaba and everything. So I felt like, wow, I've like entered a mosque also. And the experience was just beautiful. Sometimes they even have scented smell when you enter the house, and you feel like suddenly you're in Arabia or something, and it's just like very nice. Yeah.
Mashallah.
Mashallah. All right, so okay, any more things to add, brothers?
I just like to. I mean, sounds like we are ending things off, right?
Yeah, unless you got some more.
Yeah, but no lah, not any. Just like to share my appreciation that for the longest time in that I can remember, we were always, or I was always had this understanding that Islam came to Nusantara through Arabic traders lah. But this narrative of Chinese spreading it from Chinese South through the South China Sea into Nusantara, that is new to me. And yeah, as I'm being exposed more to this narrative, it sounds more and more plausible. And I think that yeah, both can exist at the same time. I really like to believe.
Mhm. Actually, I got a question though. I have a question for maybe Isakma. Maybe he has the knowledge behind this. Brother Isakma, like, how did, I mean, like, China has so much influence with the Islamic culture in the past, right? How did it all suddenly become so, like, just like in how the media shows it, a country that is communist and, you know, locked up or something? How did it got from that point to this point when it's like open trade and everything?
Can you please repeat the question? I mean, the
Oh, okay.
main question.
The main question is, China used to be very open. They open to trade
Yeah.
and very diverse.
Mhm.
Islam, was also in China, but how did it eventually become a place where people only see it as a communist country, a country that doesn't even want to open up so much information to the world.
Actually,
Mm.
actually, many people, they have their own opinion or their own view by this in this viewpoint. Okay, but for this is for every person, they have their own view, especially for those who living in China.
Mhm.
Some people, they feel that is the way of that they are living is perfect, 100% perfect, or more than 100%, or more than 200% perfect. Their world is open, their trading it's open, they are connecting with all over the world by trading. But
Mhm.
in somehow, for some people who is suffering, that they are facing some trouble, or they are facing economically trouble or other trouble, that they will feel that actually Islam is, or as a Muslim, it's not that suitable, or it's not that friendly, okay, treated by some people. So for those people, actually, they feel that these days, actually, Islam it's not that welcome. It's not that welcome by the society or by the big environment in that place. Okay, but in certain place, uh, people who are living in the wealthy, and they are living in the uh, really good situations, they can perform religion, perform any trading, so they don't feel anything. They don't
Mm.
feel anything. They just feel that their life is totally perfect. But from other countries' viewpoint, or from other places, people's viewpoint, it's totally different. Then you are not easy to contact them. You are not easy to reach what you want, or you are not easy to get what you want to know about them. And people get started to feel that why so difficult by just a simple thing that I want to know regarding them or regarding this, then why should I don't know what happened or what is the the way that they are treating. So these all are make people are scared or just ignore them or just feel that I don't want to get close or feel that they are not that friendly, they are not that open. But in the same time, they are open. They are saying that they open all market or they are open or all the trading with all over the world. But in somehow there are some limited between these all trading or between these all any informations or for the details that I think I don't I cannot give you all the details regarding this all detail. I think everybody can go on to the BBC or the the
Internet.
news, you will get it. Yeah, very huge number of the news related to they open or they close it. But personally, it is so sad for some a religious part that Muslims or any other religions in some places or sometimes cannot um, cannot engage fully. Okay, cannot engage fully. Some their own duties. So this is, I think, we hope in the future, will be more better, and also the government will help people to go further in worldwide, in religion wide, trading wide, or business wise, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
inshallah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, things will change.
But
Yeah.
Brother Firdaus, I actually think you said, okay, China is open to Islam, but I actually think there's a bit of a misunderstanding there, because as Brother Ishaq said earlier, the Ming Emperor, he also made the Hui people assimilate with the
Chinese
Han
culture.
people,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So and then the policy came of Suoguo. So the subsequent emperors, they closed China to, after Zhenghe, they actually forbade this maritime trade, and that policy was continued into the Qing dynasty. So yeah, this openness, I think it was more of a feature of Tang dynasty China, so earlier centuries, and later it became more closed and more closed. So I don't know if it's entirely inaccurate to say that it's not very open to other cultures.
Actually, it's not only the religion of Islam.
Yeah,
The Muslim are assimilated to other nations. Every culture, every religion in that in the ancient, the other religion coming from outside. There are several religion, even the Judaism, even the Judaism, okay, came to China in earlier timing, and but until that they couldn't survive in China. Okay, they couldn't survive for longer and disappear. The other religion from Persia also entered to China in earlier time. They couldn't survive, but Islam survived it because of the Muslim. They influenced it and by the local Chinese Ru culture, and then assimilated. Then they could survive until now. Islam as a Hui in China, but the other religion are quite many religion have disappeared, become a underground religions. So these days I think is quite the same with as brother Iskandria said, that the policy, okay, it's getting quite quite same to go back through 100 years more and before. So maybe the policy is give it granted people a different situation, a different future that I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, mashallah. Thanks for sharing that, brother Ishaq Mahdi. So any more other things that add to it, brothers? No. Okay. So okay, guys, we cannot cover India because I think that one will have to be part 2. Maybe there's going to be more.
Yeah. India is a bit
inshallah.
more complicated history. It's quite longer than this. Yeah.
Yeah, probably
We
longer.
need to
and
find
then-
someone with the proper subject matter expert for South India, for
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
the
maybe.
Indian.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
And
I'm
maybe
I
we
myself
we
am
are,
not very conversant in it as well. Yeah, I'm not very familiar with the Indian history too.
we are open to historians who have more knowledge than us, definitely, right? To come on the show.
Yeah.
You can just DM me on Instagram and say that give a bit of your experience and stuff. Maybe we can plan something and have you on the show to share history part of Islam in India. Yeah. So we are coming to the end. Guys, ready to do the eulogy one last time before we go?
Okay.
Not me. I do everything wrong.
No,
Okay,
no, no.
okay.
It's not round. It's not round. It's not round. This is not round. This is what you, if you just try to read it in a couple of times, you get used to. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay,
worry.
so this is the 100 word eulogy, okay, by Zheng He. Sorry, Zhu
Tan-
Yuanzhang.
Zhu Yinzhang.
Zhu Yuanzhang. Yeah, this is the 100 word eulogy. Okay, I will be saying it in English. Brother Iskandar will be reading it in Chinese, so he'll go first. And then Brother Ishakma will translate it in Arabic. Brother MENJ, are you ready? You want to try Malay?
Yeah, okay. I think I'll read the Malay version that I have here, but I'll modify a few words because
Okay.
I still think it's not really that accurate, some of the words. Yeah.
Okay, Brother Bilal and Brother Bilal. Oh, okay. He's muted, but I think maybe he went to the bathroom or something. Okay, we'll start first. Maybe Brother Iskandar, you can read it in Chinese then. Wait, before you go, for those
Wait.
who for those who don't know about this 100 word eulogy or didn't is just tuning in now. Okay, it's an inscription of the 100 word eulogy is located in Xi'an. Okay, and it's basically a let me see. Okay, so it's a 100 word eulogy praising Allah, Islam, and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, written by Hongwoo, also known by his given name as Zhu Yuanzhang, and he was the first emperor of the Ming Dynasty, who ruled between 1368 to 1398 CE. Okay, so here we go, Brother Iskandar.
Wait. Can I say something?
Yes.
There are actually three mosques where it is located in, right? One in Hangzhou, Nanjing, and also in Xi'an. But that's beside the point.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So there's a few mosques with this.
Yeah. Let's get started then. 乾坤初始，天极著名，传教大圣，降生西域，授天经30部册，普化众生，依照军师，万圣领袖，协助天运，保庇国民，50what was this 折佑启佑，莫足太平，存心真主，加治
穷民。
加治穷民。OK， 拯救患难，动彻
幽
right
冥。
幽
Yep,
冥，
right. 动彻幽冥。
超
拔灵魂。
超拔灵魂，脱离罪业，人负天下，道贯古今，降邪归一，教明清真，穆罕默德至贵圣人。
MashaAllah. All right, so in English, the translation is the 100 word eulogy. Since creation of universe, heaven has already appointed faith preaching giant saint. From west he was born to receive holy scripture with 30-part book, to guide all creations, king of all kings, leader of holy ones, with support from divine to protect his nation, with 5 daily prayers, silently hope for peace, with heart towards Allah, empower the poor ones, save them from calamity, see through the unseen, pulling souls and spirits away from all wrongdoings, mercy to the world, walking ancient crowned path, evil vanquished to one, religion pure and true. Muhammad, the noble high one. That's the translation. All right. So in Arabic, Brother Isakma.
Arabic. Okay. منذ أن خلق الكون والمخلوقات قد كتب على تعيينه هو عظيم الشأن الداعية إلى الحق مولود في الغرب ليتلقى الكتاب المنزل 30 جزءا هدى للعالمين سيد القادات والملوك وزعيم المرسلين معينا من ربه حارسا لأمته مناجيا ربه أثناء 5 صلوات سلاما وهدى على الأمم مؤمنا بربه ومعينا للضعفاء وإنقاذ كل من ظلم ومنح من البلايا ورأى الغيب من الجنة والنار إنه ذو أخلاق قيمة وهو معصوم مرسلا ورحمة للعالمين ودينه على ولا يعلى أبدا دينه هزم ما الشر وسماه إسلاما وهو محمد الشريف الكريم. Finish.
MashaAllah. Okay.
MashaAllah.
Brother MENJ.
Oh my God. Okay, my turn, right? Okay.
Malay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll read it in the sajak form. Okay, poetry, puisi form, poetry. Okay. Yeah, there will be some. I think there will be some music to it. So, okay. Okay, I'll start. Bismillah. Okay. Sejak terciptanya alam semesta ini, Tuhan telah menetapkan pelantikan seorang pendakwah lelaki teragung. Baginda dilahirkan dari barat. Baginda menerima wahyu agung. Kitab yang mengandungi 30 bahagian untuk membimbing semua makhluk. Tuan kepada semua raja, pemimpin yang tersuci, dengan bimbingan daripada atas untuk melindungi negaranya, bersama dengan perintah solat 5 waktu, dalam diam mengharapkan keamanan. Hatinya hanya kepada Allah, mengangkat darjat si miskin, menyelamatkan mereka dari sengsara, melihat melalui kegelapan, menarik jiwa dan roh dari kesemua kesalahan. Rahmat kepada sekalian alam, menyelusuri rahsia silam, memadamkan segala kejahatan, agamanya suci dan benar. Itulah Muhammad yang terhormat dan teragung. Yeah, and
MashaAllah. It all sounds so beautiful, in all the different languages. I find
yeah,
it.
because I'm reciting it in a sajak form, because in a poetic form, a Malay
Mm.
poetic form. That's why it sounds different. Yeah, I'm not reading it like a normal text. You see.
Yeah.
That's why.
But even though it's like a different language, the pacing, the rhythms kind of matches.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
Okay, so we come to end. Okay, Brother Bilal, are you going to try to do it in French? Maybe he's busy. Maybe inshallah we get a personal recording of him doing it in French one day. Pass him to send it to
We
me.
demand a poetic performance.
Spoken word, eh?
Yeah.
All right. So without much further ado, I hope guys this have been beneficial for all of you, and this is a very good prelude to we do this program today because Chinese New Year is coming and it's on the 1st of February this year. Inshallah, we hope that tonight's program would have benefited you and everyone who's watching. Do tune in again in 2 weeks' time. We're going to go for a break next week. It will be another interesting story. Trust me, I found the person to share. Okay. So, without much further ado, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you,
Waalaikumsalam.
everyone.
Assalamualaikum
Salam.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.